2.2 Characteristics of Quadratic Functions. Page 56 through 60 in your textbook. Exploring properties of parabolas or quadratics. Alright, first thing we really need to understand is the axis of symmetry. That is a line that divides the parabola into mirror images that passes through the vertex. Over here on the right, here is an image. That line right there, x equals h, is the axis of symmetry. And you can see that it cuts that U like right down the middle, or right in half, so it's symmetric on both sides, or it's mirrored. What I also want you to notice is that HK, that vertex, is a point on the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry will always have the vertex on it. Okay, so because the vertex of f of x equals a times the quantity of x minus h squared plus k, has hk your vertex, then x equals h. Your axis of symmetry is h. X equals h. Alright, this will make things really easy for us in graphing. You can just mirror points to the other side, so you don't have to solve for them. I definitely am going to use this. You should use this. It's a shortcut. It will help us in this process. Alright, here we go. Concept 1, graphing vertex form. And here we go. Graph f of x equals negative 2 times the quantity of x plus 3 squared plus 4. And it says label the vertex and axis of symmetry. Alright, so first things first here. Let's go ahead and label A is negative 2. Right? H is negative 3. And K is 4. Those are the three things we really need to focus on. And if I know that, then I know h is equal to x, which is negative 3, and that is my axis of symmetry. Oops. Axis of symmetry. Okay, so x equals negative 3. I am going to go ahead and do that right here. 1, 2, 3. Alright, and there we go. Start it off. Alright, the next part is my vertex. And your vertex is HK. And with that, in this case, h is negative 3, k is 4, so negative 3, 4. So negative 3, and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there is my vertex, highest or lowest point. Because I have that negative right there, it's going to reflect, so it's going to be my highest point. Okay, now, what I really need to do is find 2 points. And what I always do with vertex form is just choose the points to the right. So for me, I would say x equals 2. And x equals 1. So if 3, right, if I'm going 3 to the left, I'm choosing, actually it should be negative 2, sorry, and negative 1. So negative 2 would be right here, and negative 1 would be right there. Now, the reason I want to do those 2 points, or as closest points to that axis of symmetry as possible, is we are doing with quadratics, so everything's a power of 2, which is going to get off your graph really quick. If you choose like a point like 5 over here, it's not going to be on your graph. Okay, so these will be close to axis of symmetry, and they should stay on the graph for the most part. They still may be off. This one, could be off if you go 2 away from it. Alright, so here we go. X equals negative 2. So what I'm going to do is I just do f of negative 2 equals negative 2 times negative 2 plus 3 squared plus 4. And if I choose the 1 to the right, what I'm going to do is negative 2 plus 3, which is 1 squared. It's always going to be 1 squared. That's what makes it easy. I just choose 1 to the right of the axis of symmetry. Now 1 squared is 1 times negative 2 is negative 2 plus 4 is 2. So now I have the point negative 2, 2. So negative 2, right? 2 to the left, up 1, 2. Alright, now I have that point. And what I use is the axis of symmetry just to mirror it. So see how from the axis of symmetry it's just 1 to the right of that? I just go 1 to the left of that and it mirrors. Now I'll do the same thing for f of negative 1 equals negative 2 times negative 1 plus 3 squared plus 2. Negative 2, and then negative 1 plus 3 is 2 squared plus 4. And again, if I go 2 to the right of it, I'm going to get 2 in my parentheses. So 2 squared is 4, times 2 is negative 8 plus 4, and that's negative 4. So I have negative 1, negative 4 as my point. So 1 to the left, down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Plot that point right there. And what I'm going to do is it's 2 to the right of the axis of symmetry there, so I just go 2 to the left, I mirror it, and voila, I am done. Now I go ahead and draw my graph. I am going to label it f of x, and it also asks me to label the axis of symmetry and the vertex. So the vertex I'm going to put up here at negative 3, 4. And a lot of times I put a v there just to represent the vertex, but not totally necessary. Okay, awesome. I would like you to try number 2 all on your own. Use this as your example, of course. Work through the process. Please pause now, as I'm going to show the answer. Alright, there is number 2 for you. Everything you need to know. And that is vertex form. Please pause now if you need to spend longer on it. I'm going to flip it up and go to page 6 in standard form. Alright, mine got a little messed up here, but yours shouldn't be. Okay, so here we go, standard form. F of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And keys for this is this right here. Axis of symmetry is where we're going to start. X equals negative b over 2 times a. And then you're going to plug that in for f of x to get your vertex. So we use that to get your x. We plug it in f of negative b over 2a to get your vertex. And then the other thing you definitely want to know is we do have a shortcut. 0c is always a point on the parabola, which is nice. So I will use that as well. Okay, so you can see this is in standard form here. And a is 3. B is negative 6. And C is 1. Okay, so I think I'll just go underneath, but I'll just do it on top. X equals negative b over 2 times a is where I start. That is my axis of symmetry. Alright, so negative b would be the opposite of negative 6 over 2 times a, which is 3, which gives me 6 over 6, which is 1. So x equals 1. I'm going to go ahead and put that on that graph right here. So here's my, I know it's kind of messed up here a little bit, but here is x equals 1. Okay. Now, since I get x equals 1, I put f of 1 in to get my y, or my second part of the vertex. So now I have 3 times 1 squared minus 6 times 1 plus 1. Order of operations, 1 squared is 1 times 3 is 3. Minus 6 times 1 is minus 6 plus 1. It gives me negative 3 plus 1, and that is negative 2. Okay, so my vertex now is x, which is the 1, and then f of 1, which is negative 2. So vertex 1, negative 2, I go down 2 right there. This time A is positive, so it's going to open upwards. No. Alright, so the next part I'm going to go to is this shortcut right here, 0C. Okay, it always works. So in this case, 0C is 1. So now I have 0, 1, which is right there. And I can just mirror it right there. Alright, I need one more point. So we're a graph of 5 points. So what's a good one to choose? Well, I can't choose the one to the right or one to the left because I have points there. So I have to choose 2 to the right or 2 to the left or something past 2 to the right. But I'm going to just choose 2 to the right and hopefully it stays on. So 2 to the right of my vertex, is 3. To the right of my vertex. So here's my origin. It goes 1, 2, 3. So I choose x equals 3. I should choose a different color. X equals 3. Okay, so now I say f of 3 equals 3 times 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 1. 3 squared is 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18 plus 1. 27 minus 18 is 9 plus 1 is 10. So my point is 3, 10. So let's start at my origin right here. 1, 2, 3. 10 is right there. And you see how it's 2 to the right of the axis of symmetry right there? 2 to the right of it. I just move 2 to the left. Voila, we have our graph. Alright, and that is my f of x graph. And I'm going to also write my vertex at 1, negative 2. Alrighty. There's everything there. It does ask for your vertex and the axis of symmetry, so I do label those on the graph. And voila, we are done. Standard form can be a little more difficult because it's a little harder to find that vertex. And you also have to plug in points. But we do have that 0C for a shortcut to help us a little bit. Alright. Go ahead, take some time to look at that. Sorry for that little technical error there, but 4 should be there for you. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you, so please pause if you need more time. And here we go. Alright, there is number 4. And pause if you need more time.